Hi guys, it's Nancy and I am going to attempt my first process video today, and I'm going to make these little cards for you. So we have a little deer in the woods. This one has a little wreath on him, and this one's just a golden one. And you know, you can pretend like it's day or night, whatever you want, and then you can put your little sentiment on there, whatever you want to do. But I thought they were cute for Christmas, or if you have a hunter in your family, hunting season's coming up, so maybe a good luck card or something like that. So we are going to start with a couple of things. Everybody's favorite embossing folder right now, the Stamping Up Birch Trees. And there is two ways that you can do this. So, and you guys have probably seen on Pinterest, I've made a couple cards as well, where people stamp the cars, like the Tim Holtz cars, or Stampin' Up has some cars, these old cars here. And if you stamp that directly on your folder and then run it through, it'll look like the cars are behind the trees. So we're going to use kind of the same idea here. So first thing we're going to do is ink up the background, and I like two kinds of inks, two colors of inks for that. So we have the Distress Ink Stormy Sky, and this is a little mini inker, so you can take this directly to the embossing folder. And I want the flat parts here to be raised, so I want my trees to pop up. So I'm going to ink the flat parts here, and you can go directly onto the folder with that. But the one I want to use today is a little bit darker, because originally I was going to make it a snowy scene, excuse me. So I was going to put some snow on there. So I'm using Chip Sapphire today. All right. So we're just going to ink that up nice and dark, direct to the folder there. Doesn't hurt anything. I just kind of want to make sure everything's filled in like that. Now what I had attempted to do on this card was put a little moon, but all it did was it yellowed out my distress pad, and it got all, or sorry, my distress pad actually turned blue because it picked up the ink. So what you could do is mask it off and ink it up that way. So let's try that. So first thing I'm going to do is get a little rag, and I'm going to wipe off a little spot there. So right here in this area here. Just kind of wipe that excess ink off. And I lost my dauber. Here it is. So just to save my sponge a little bit, I'm going to put that there, and I'm using a little bit of squeezed lemonade distress ink. I'm just kind of sponging that on there. Now it's more circular. You can see my dauber picked up some of that. No big deal. Just wipe it off. Use it again another day. Alright, and then the last thing I want to add, and these are distress inks, so they stay wet for a while, so you don't have to worry about them drying out, is I have these cute little Tim Holtz trees. See them? I got these last year, so I'm going to stamp these in forest, what is this? Forest moss. Actually, do it this way. And again, we're just going to stamp them onto the folder in random different spots. All right. And now I have my big kick off to the side here. I have my piece of paper. And I probably should have brought my moon down a little bit. It's a little high for this piece of paper, but we're going to line this up. So I want a little bit of my moon in there, and I want the trees in there. Very carefully stick that in. Try not to wiggle around. Close my folder. And run that through my old big kick here. All right. And what will happen now is running it through, the ink will transfer onto from the folder onto your paper. Move that out of the way. And here you can see this one came out really dark, so I'll probably add some snow to this one. But we can see our little moon in the background, and our little trees are on there. And then all we're going to do is mount it. And I'm going to use gold foil, I think, for this one since it's so dark. And again, I'm using my foil paper from Die Cuts with a View, foiled cardstock, and I picked that up at one of the big box stores. Now what I'm going to do is I have a frame here. Somewhere I had a frame. I think it was a, oh, I lost my frame. I did have a frame. It was a stitched rectangle frame, and I believe it's the Mama Elephant's femme frames, but everybody has stitched rectangle frames, so I did cut that out. But before I had cut the frame out, I had taken my deer die, and there's two different dies that I have. I have this one from Impression Obsession, and then I just got this new set from my Stampin' Up! Rep, Santa's Sleigh, and there's a cute little deer in here, and he's a little shorter. So you can see here, this is the Stampin' Up! Die, and this is the Impression Obsession die. And the Impression Obsession die, it also came with a doe. So, got a couple of deers there. So what I would do then is foil, which, like I said, I can't find my die right now, so I'm just going to cut the foil out to frame size here, which is going to be 5 1/4 by 4. My Tim Holtz trimmer. I love this trimmer. If you guys are thinking about getting a new trimmer, this one cuts like butter. It's so nice. Alright, I'm not going to glue this down yet because you know me, I'm going to cut out some kind of die cuts out of the center there. And we always save our scraps. So then what I would do is layer my gold piece. Oops, I didn't cut that right. But you would ideally cut it the correct size. I could trim this down a little bit to make it fit, so it's not a big deal. Alright, and then I have some extra deers here. Put one of the deers on, or you could turn them around the other way if you wanted to, so the way he's looking at the moon. Alright, so there you go, guys. That is my first process video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed my new setup here. I got a new iPad, and I'm just working out different ways of filming, so hopefully everything's a little bit clearer for you. And that's how you stamp on your embossing folders. And again, try it out with the cars in the background. You can also take the snow pen on here. You guys got one of these yet? The snow marker from Marvy. And all this does, and I usually blob it and then splatter it. Ooh, not like that. That's bad. Ah, towel. That's okay. That's just a place for sequin to go later, right, guys? Alright, so I haven't used this in a while, which is probably why it's all icky like that. So I would take it like that and then take a paintbrush and splatter it on. And then as it makes the splatters. Now, what's neat about this snow pen is when you heat it up with your heat tool, it puffs up. So it actually becomes like 3D, okay, after you make a big mess all over your craft desk. And any spots like this that are white, you can always go in later with your sponge and kind of just touch it up if you wanted to, if it bothered you that much. It doesn't really bother me because I think it's kind of natural with the light coming in. You know, sometimes you see more, in some places it's darker, but you could touch it up if you wanted to. And then I would just take my heat tool and heat that up, and all of those spots where the Marvy snow pen were will puff up so it looks like real snow. And again, you just put your little deer on there, glue him on, and there you go. Alright, now I'm saying goodbye. Thanks again, guys. I hope you enjoyed my video, and I will be making more soon. Keep stamping.